Now, manufacturing industries are classified into A, light industries, B, heavy industries, C, and consumer goods industries. Now, under light industries, we say that light industries are secondary industries which produce relatively lightweight goods. What are lightweight goods? They are goods like matches, books, pencils, etc. And they usually employ the service of more females in light industries. It's because the products are relatively light as well. And other features of the light industry are that they usually make use of materials that have already been partially processed. Examples are leather industry, food industry, textile industries, etc. Now let's see the heavy industries. Heavy industries are also called secondary industries. They produce heavy or bulky products and employ mostly the services of mainly men. Examples of heavy industry include the metallurgical industry, the petroleum industry, the shipbuilding industries, iron and steel, cement manufacturing industries, etc. Now the third class of industry, which is the consumer good industry. Consumer good industry deals with the turning of raw materials into consumable goods. They employ the services of both males and females, and they produce goods like meat, dairy products, coffee, etc. Industries also can be classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary industries. Now, primary industries. Primary industries are concerned with extraction of raw materials provided by nature. They are also called, at times, they are called extractive industries. Example, we have the mining, the fishing, the lumbering, the farming, and the livestock production industries. Now let's look at secondary industries. If primary industries are concerned with extraction of raw materials by nature, that are provided by nature, now secondary industries turn these raw materials to consumable or into finished goods. An example of secondary industries include chemical, iron and steel, and textile industries. Now, tertiary industries, they are concerned with rendering services. And these services could be direct services like trading, banking, teaching, medical, and transportation. Or they could be indirect services like the police, navy, custom, works, etc. And also, industries could be classified into 1. Local crafts or cottage industries. Local industries depend on raw materials that are obtained from their immediate locality, and they use simple crude tools to manufacture their products or their goods, and they require small labor force and less capital. Examples of such industries include the leather works, the pottery, the basket, mat making industries. You can see that this kind of industries, they don't need to import raw materials. They are usually situated in areas where they can obtain raw materials from their immediate locality. I remember in my village when we were young, because we have the availability of the raw materials, this plant that is usually used for making mat. We have so many mat making industries in my village. That explains what we call the local craft or cottage industry. Now, manufacturing industries, that's the second class of industries when you are classifying it in this category. The manufacturing industry, they convert raw materials combined with other materials to produce finished goods using special machines and equipment to do this. Examples are the textile, the food, iron and steel industries. Now, there are factors affecting the location of industries. And these factors include: 1, proximity to source of material or raw material. You don't expect me to locate my industry in Ibadan, Nigeria, where there is no raw material, there is no available raw material around Ibadan and its environs. But these industries are usually sited or located in areas where you can easily, access the raw materials. Maybe this is to cut down transportation, because the cost of transporting, let me say, if I'm locating my industry here in Ibadan and the raw materials are found in somewhere in Cross River and Calabar, the cost of transporting the raw materials already would have taken even half of the money for production. So at the end of the day, we run at a loss. So proximity to source of material is one factor that determines the location of industry. Now, nearness to market. This is also a factor. If I'm producing a good in Enugu and there is no ready market around Enugu and its environs, it is also difficult, because the cost of conveying the good from Enugu to where we have market also matters. So if you weigh all these options, it is best to situate or locate an industry close to where there is a ready market. Now, there's also a factor of power. Industries are usually sited near areas or places where there is source of power. Most of these industries require constant electricity to operate or to carry out production activities. So in area where there is no source of power, it is not advisable to locate an industry there. Another factor is availability of labor. You locate your industry in a place where you will find ready people to work. That's what we mean by availability of labor. Adequate transport network is also a factor responsible for siting industry. How are you going to convey the raw material? How are you going to convey the finished products from the factory to the market for distribution or for marketing? These are all factors to consider before citing your industry. Political stability. Most industries in the northern part of Nigeria have folded because of political instability, because of the insecurity problems, because of insurgency. So in places like that, it's not advisable to set up an industry there, because it will disrupt your activities. It will disrupt your production activities, thus running down the industry, causing us to have losses instead of profits. Government policies. If a government policy in a particular place is not favorable, it is not advisable to locate an industry there. So government policies also affects the location of industry. Now let's talk about localization of industries. Localization of industry simply means the concentration of industries in an area. What are the advantages of localization of industries? One is that it leads to interdependence of industries. Two, it creates employment opportunities. Three, it leads to provision of social amenities. And four, it encourages healthy competition among industries. You will discover that if we have just one industry producing, let me say, bread, have a factory producing bread, there will be less competition if there are no other factories around, concentrated around, producing the same products. But if we have